again, welcome to class 324, right, Marta? 324. All right, let's finish our list number 4, page 52, on vocabulary. I'll review the 5 or 6 words from the last class. Una necesidad, a need. Plural, needs. Mis necesidades, my needs. Needs, z. Mis rodillas serían my knee. Escucha, mis rodillas. My knees. Knees. Mis necesidades, my needs. Zaragoza. My needs. Las necesidades de mis rodillas serían my needs. Acostumbrado a, accustomed to, used to, accustomed to. En voz alta, aloud. Dilo en voz alta. Say it aloud. O bien, alternativa, say it out loud. Cita con dentista, profesional, abogado, appointment. Tomorrow I have an appointment with my lawyer. Appointment. Equilibrio, balance. Desglose, breakdown. You remember breakdown? A nervous breakdown. Un ataque nervioso. O sea, una descomposición nerviosa. Porque breakdown es darle una... y luego se descompone. Por eso se dice breakdown. Y una avería de un motor o un coche es a breakdown. Breakdown. My car broke down yesterday. It was a breakdown. Desglose, breakdown. Quiero las ventas. Desglosa las ventas por regiones. Break down the sales by region. A regional breakdown. A sales breakdown. Ropa. Clothes. Clothes. Me van a echar la bronca. Yeah, they're going to get angry with me. Close. Ropa, close. Close. Cerrar la puerta. Close. Cerrar la ropa. Close the clothes. Me personally, all my life, I have pronounced ropa, escrito clothes, con th en medio. All my life, I've pronounced this word, close. Exactly identical to close the door. Close your eyes. Close. And I have never had a communication problem in my life. I came to Spain and I started teaching English many years ago. And only about 15 years ago, maybe in 2005, 2006, a person said, Richard, it's not clothes, it's clothes. 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 I said, no. I've said clothes all my life. And they said, no, you need to say clothes. I said, no. Later, I was listening to these people, and in the heat of the battle, they say clothes, like me. When they're teaching English, they say clothes. But in the heat of the battle, se dice en el calor de la batalla, o sea, cuando están hablando con otros nativos y no se dan cuenta, hablan como yo, clothes, clothes. I like your clothes. I like your clothes. Clothes. So I pronounce clothes, ropa. Clothes, mira, cloth, singular, sin la ES. Cloth es un trapo o una tela, cloth. Entonces son, como decir, telas, mis prendas, ropajes, my clothes. Y yo digo clothes. Criterios, escucha, criteria. Claro, es palabra latina. This is a Latin word. Criteria. One criterion, termina en N, I-O-N, curiosamente. One criterion, 2 criteria. However, we usually don't use the singular. We say in the criterios, criteria. Mesa de trabajo, desk. Desk es escritorio también. Pupitre de alumnos de colegio, desk. Y mesa de trabajo is desk. In my office, I have a nice glass, not wood, a nice glass desk. Plural os cuesta decir desks. Good luck. Desks. Motor, engine. Yes, engine. Engine es un motor de sistema de combustión interna. Engine. Engine. Motor eléctrico decimos motor. Ojo, motor. An electric motor. We don't say electric engine. An engine is gasoline, diesel, or similar. That's an engine. Internal combustion engine. But a motor is motor basado en electricidad. Motor eléctrico. Okay, engine. Incluso, even, aún así, even so. Incluso. Todos fueron a la fiesta, incluso la abuela. Everybody went to the party, even my grandmother. Really? How old is your grandmother? She's 102. And she went to the party? Yeah. And she danced. Come on. No, she did. Well, what did she dance? She danced the foxtrot. You're kidding me. Come on. You're 102 years old, huh? That's right. And she danced the foxtrot. In Spanish, I don't know, foxtrot. I don't know how to say it. My grandmother, when she was 22 years old, she was the national ballroom dancing champion. Excuse me? Don't make myself repeat everything. My grandmother, when she was 22 years old, was the national ballroom dancing champion. Campeona nacional de baile de salón. Baile de salón es ballroom. Ball como pelota. Ballroom, todo junto, como habitación. Ball. Ball tiene otros significados. Una gala. A ball es una gala. Entonces, habitación para galas. Ballroom dancing is baile de salón. And so she was the national ballroom dancing champion when she was 22. Now she's 102. And she asked me, he said, "Where are you going, Richard?" I said, "I'm going to a party." "Oh, have a good time." "Thanks, Grandma." What kind of party?" "Oh, we're dancing. It's a party based on old dancing. The waltz, the foxtrot, the rumba, classical ball. "Oh, can I go?" I said, "Grandma, you're 102. "Well, why not?" "I was the national ballroom dancing champion in 1941. I said, "Okay, well, come on, Grandma." So everybody went to the party, even my grandmother. This story is not true. I'm making it up. This story isn't true. I am making it up. I'm making it up, lo estoy inventando. To invent, inventar. To invent es inventar. Inventar no sé, el invento del lápiz, inventar el micrófono, to invent. Thomas Edison, for example, to invent, an inventor. Ahora, inventar una historia no es to invent, it's to make up. O sea, verbo compuesto, phrasal verb, make más preposición up. To make up a story. Are you making that up? ¿Estás inventando eso? Esa historia. Are you making that up? Yes, I'm making it up. All right. Everybody went to the party, even my grandmother. Por último, finally, finalmente, finally. Diferente uso de finally. Finalmente llegaron. Finally, they came. Finally. Ya está bien, finally. Finally, se pronuncia como dos sílabas. Finally. Aunque finally, también puedes decir finally. Y finally también dices, por último, quiero añadir que, finally, I want to add, etc. Finally, directrices, guidelines. Claro, guide, escrito guide, guide es una guía. Guide. Esto es una guía para aprender esto, el inglés. This is a guide. Guide. And a guide también es un guía de turismo. A tour guide. A tour guide. Pero añades lines, todo junto, líneas de guía, literalmente líneas de guías directrices. Las directrices, hay que seguir esas directrices. To follow these guidelines. Follow these guidelines. Idioma, language, hombre. Language. Enfadado, mad. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm upset. Ahora, upset es disgustado, no enfadado. O sea, un enfado interior, que no exteriorizas. I'm upset. Lo exteriorizas. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm mad at you. I'm angry with you. Different prepositions. I'm mad at you. Ya está bien. Enough is enough. Okay. El ya está bien dices, mira, basta ya. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm angry with you. I'm mad at. I'm mad at you. I'm mad. Mad también es loco. All right. Okay, but depending on the context, it's loco or enfadado. I'm mad. Estrecho, narrow. It's very narrow. Narrow, narrow, nair. Hair, also bear, narrow. Narrow. Wide, narrow. Ahora, un estrecho is a strait. Estrecho de Gibraltar. The Strait of Gibraltar. El estrecho de Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz. El estrecho de Bering. The Bering Strait. Straight como recto, but with a different spelling. But here, the opposite of wide is narrow. De mente estrecha. Narrow-minded. Broad-minded. Narrow. La política. Una política. Policy. Ojo. Policy. Una política de empresa. No. Vamos a cambiar ciertas políticas aquí. We're going to change some policies. So policy. Policy también es póliza de seguros. An insurance policy. La política en este caso es subir el sueldo cada año. Okay. Right, Marta? The policy. Entonces, ahora, lo que es la política de los políticos y el politiqueo, that's politics. Politics. No me gusta la política. I don't like politics. Mi política es no entrar en política. Mi política personal es no entrar en política. My personal policy is not to enter politics. Okay? Yes. Y la palabra politics viene de la idea que nuestros representantes fijan o establecen políticas de actuación. Policies. All right. Policy. Insurance policy. Razón. Reason. Hay un razón para todo. There's a reason for everything in life. Maybe. A reason. Zaragoza. Zarzuela. Reason. Satisfecho. Satisfied. Are you satisfied with your English? Yes? Well, you shouldn't be satisfied. Yeah. You will never be 100% satisfied with your spoken English. You will never speak English perfectly. Why? Because nobody speaks English perfectly. I don't speak English perfectly. I have my eloquent moments, que bien me he expresado hoy. And I have my less eloquent moments, que mal me expresé en la reunión de ayer. With my own language, and you with Spanish. So you don't have complete control of the spoken word in terms of eloquence, impact, effectiveness. So it's impossible to have perfect Spanish or perfect English. So you will never be perfect. You'll never speak perfect English. But you are perfectly capable of perfectly controlling the communication situation. Mucho perfecto aquí, sí. Nunca hablarás un inglés perfecto, pero estás capacitado o estarás capacitado para controlar perfectamente los entornos de comunicación con un inglés imperfecto hablado. Because my English isn't perfect. I repeat, I have good moments and less good moments, etc. Now, understanding, perfect. This, yes. If you are a perfectionist, si pecas de perfeccionista, if you have the bad habit of being a perfectionist, only with the ear for understanding, not for speaking, not for speaking. You will never be 100% satisfecho with your spoken English. Simplemente, simply, simple, sencillo, simple, sencillamente, simply. No, sencillamente estoy cansado, eso es todo. I'm simply tired, okay? No problem. You look at my eyes. Do I look tired? Yeah. Well, I'm simply tired. No problem, okay? Paso, steps. No paso de montaña. That's a mountain. Un puerto de montaña, paso de montaña is a mountain pass. Ahora it's paso a paso, step by step. Step by step. Step también es peldaño o escalón de escaleras. First step, second step, third step. Step también es una etapa, unos pasos, the steps. A four-step approach. Un enfoque de 4 pasos para aprender inglés. A four-step approach to learning English. Step. Y no me pises. Don't step on. Hay que añadir on cuando es pisar. Uy, he pisado algo, no sé lo que es. I stepped on something. Que me estás pisando, darling. My grandmother dancing the foxtrot. You're stepping on me. Yes. Me has pisado los dedos del pie. Yeah. Will you dance? ¿Bailarás conmigo? Will you dance? Will you dance? Arriesga. Take a chance with me. Okay? Will you dance? Will you dance? Take a chance with me. I know how. Watch me now. Simple as can be. Don't say no. Don't say no. I won't step on your toes. No me digas que no. Que no vas a bailar conmigo. No te pisaré el pie. Okay. I won't step on. Pero un paso es a step. Cada clase es un paso en la dirección correcta. Every class here is a step in the right direction. This class is a step in the right direction. Yesterday's class was a step in the right direction. Tomorrow's class, yesterday's class, today's class, con genitivos a con, apóstrofe S. Tomorrow's class will be a step in the right direction. Impuestos, taxes. Hasta en Texas hay impuestos. Even in Texas, there are taxes. Yes. There are two things. In English, there's a saying. In English, there's a saying. Hay un dicho. There are only two things sure in life. Dos cosas seguras en la vida. La muerte y los impuestos. Death and taxes. Death and taxes. Now, some doctors and scientists say that maybe in the future we can reverse the aging process and defeat death. So, only taxes. That's the only sure things. It's easier to solve death than to solve taxes. Taxes. The tax man. El fisco is the tax man. All right. No decimos the tax woman. The tax man. Permitirse el lujo de, esto es importante, to afford. To afford. To afford means poder afrontar un gasto. Con éxito, poder comprar. I can't afford a Ferrari. It's too expensive. I don't have enough money. I can't afford a beautiful penthouse in Paris or London. Penthouse is ático, arriba de todo, de los más bonitos. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. I can't afford it is no puedo afrontar ese gasto. No puedo comprar. No tengo dinero suficiente. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Afford, doble F, afford. De hecho, suena igual que decir un coche Ford, afford. Si no pudiera afrontar el gasto para un coche Ford. I can't afford a Ford. I can afford a Renault, but I can't afford a Ford. Y luego, pasando al área figurada, to afford es permitirse el lujo de. Puf, no puedo permitirme el lujo de llamarle idiota al jefe. Puf, me despide. I can't afford to call my boss an idiot. I'll pay the price. I can't afford to do that. It's too dangerous. I can't afford to do these. To afford, permitirse el lujo de. Ser aburrido, to be boring. Is this class boring? Is learning English boring? Do you remember in primary school or secondary school, do you remember any boring teachers? Did you have any boring teachers? Me, yeah. I had some. Not boring, not too many boring teachers, but I had some boring teachers. I had some boring teachers in Texas, and I had some boring teachers in Oklahoma. And I have had some boring teachers in Spain, yes, as well. The most boring teacher I have ever had in Spain was the most eminent teacher in the claustro de profesores. El más eminente, el más, whoa. He was a god. Yeah. And he was the most boring teacher I have had in my life, I think. Terrible. I don't know why he's an eminence. Maybe he's an eminence because he publishes articles and books. But in the classroom, hasta las ovejas duermen. Yeah. He's very, very boring. Boring. Ser aburrido. Estar aburrido is to be bored. Olegario has started again. Can you hear it? Listen. This time you can hear it. That's Olegario. How much time do we have left, Marta? How much time? Do we have, yeah? Let me see. Now she shows me how much time, usually. All right, well, he stopped. He stopped. En español, de España diríais ha parado, o lo ha dejado, ha parado. En inglés, paró. Como los asturianos hablan así un poco, y los latinoamericanos. He stopped. Olegario. With the drill, remember? El taladro? Okay, his drill. Okay, estar aburrido is to be bored. Ser aburrido is to be boring. Y existir is to exist. Eggs son huevos. 1 egg, 2 eggs. Fried eggs, huevos fritos. Scrambled eggs. Huevos revueltos. When my son, mi hijo, when my son was 3 years old, said, yo quiero huevos devueltos. Okay. All right. Lengua de trapo. All right. But scrambled eggs. Ahora, existir empieza con huevos. Como si fueran huevos. Exist. Existence. Existential. Existentialism. To exist. I exist. You exist. And the English language exists, which means we have something in common. I teach English, and you need to learn English or improve your English. So, a common bond exists. A common bond exists. And Olegario is starting to distract me. All right. So, tomorrow we will start on point 24, which very quickly, and we will start moving perhaps more quickly through the book. But whose pencils are those? They're mine. Whose microphone is that? It's mine. Whose telephone is this? It's mine. Whose books are these? They're mine. Whose camera is that? It's the company's. Whose drill is that? ¿De quién es ese taladro arriba? Whose drill is that? It's Olegario's. All right. Whose también se usa como whose. W-H-O-S-E. Se usa como cuyo. Mira. Frankie Shakespeare. Yeah. Who's Frankie Shakespeare? Well, Frankie Shakespeare died a long time ago. Oh, who was Frankie Shakespeare? Frankie Shakespeare was the man whose son was a famous playwright and poet. Oh, Frankie Shakespeare was the man cuyo hijo fue famoso dramaturgo y poeta William Shakespeare. His father's name was Frankie? I don't know. I'm making this up. Para usar whose. Frankie Shakespeare was the man, era el hombre cuyo hijo era, o fue, poeta y dramaturgo. Frankie Shakespeare was the man whose son was a famous playwright and poet. Playwright and poet. Yes, Manolo Cervantes was the man whose son wrote Don Quixote. Whose books are these? They're mine. Whose camera is that? It's Marta's. And this course is over for today. I'll see you tomorrow.